So now we're going to talk about natal Mercury in Virgo and the law of attraction. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the planet of I think and I speak, making it extremely personal to me as I look at it within the sign of my natal chart. When I think about Mercury being in Virgo, I feel like Mercury is happy there. I feel as if Mercury is like, oh, okay, I get this. I want to be of service. I want to help everybody be able to think the thoughts that are most powerful for their own co-creation. It is also the house and the sign that represents my health. And I feel like here, Mercury really gives us a clue as to my mental stresses and where I might, again, kind of get this feeling of having to be perfect or having to be dutiful to a situation, get my job done because I'm being of service to another. And when I think about the law of attraction, to me, it is the greatest thing that I can do to be of service to others is to be able to align my thoughts and my speech to the experience I want to create, not the experiences I have already created. By nature, the human is oppressed. By nature, the human is taught to be dutiful and to be of service to others, but not in a way that ever affords them their own happiness. And here, Mercury is very prey to that. So we want to really identify when we look at the I think is what is the dominant thought? What is the dominant focus of my thoughts? Because inadvertently, if the service that is being provided is out of balance, then there's an erosion going on, not just for the person, the mercurial person in Virgo providing the service, but for the person receiving it without realizing it, because there's some sort of weird obligatory energy passing. So how can we use this dynamic to really balance the scales, for lack of a better term? Because I think actually Mercury here, when I get out of the human monkey mind of Mercury and I get into the idea of Virgo likes process. It likes to implement processes and organizations so that it makes steady progress forward. So I think here we would really kind of want to, like, Mercury likes in Virgo likes a checklist. Here we go. This is a great place to put it. Sort of taking a list of how many of my thoughts are actually serving the experience I want to have versus an experience I have been deemed responsible for, or in some ways needing to perfect. And I want to offer this too, because with the double influence of the ruler of the house being in the house of Mercury, I feel like this could be a little Caesar Milan here to really apply any principles of the law of attraction beforehand. I think it's a little bit about exercise discipline. What does he do? He always runs the dogs before he tries to rehabilitate them. So if Virgo enjoys some meditation, if Virgo enjoys a long walk, if Virgo enjoys yoga or any kind of exercise, I think that would be a really strong element to manifestation to implement, maybe before you even go into the awareness of your being energy. And when I say the awareness of your being energy, I'm talking about the I think and what are my expectations, because as I've aged, I become more and more aware that every thought is at least two thoughts. And oftentimes I need to allow the thought to get a little bit of air before I can really identify whether I'm making a choice in the motivation of that thought, or whether it's a patterned and imprinted established thought that I received from my previous experiences and conditioning on the planet. So I want to offer this for my Mercury ruled Virgo, Mercury in Virgo, my words, it's going to be a long day. Giving yourself an opportunity to use the pitter patter of Mercury's feet, to move yourself sort of in a rhythmic way. I've all my whole life, even before I could walk, I've rocked. There's a very soothing energy for me. And on some intuitive level, I feel like it's something I did in some sort of monastery, as I was chanting. So I feel like finding something that brings some sort of movement to you before you go into really trying to implement your the laws of attraction, because I feel like allowing the movement, allowing yourself to be in an earth element and moving will calm the mind down long enough to identify maybe the difference between a thought that is authentically yours from an evolved perception, or a thought that, again, has been pre-printed on your brain and feels slightly obligatory. As those thoughts then as you become aware of those, then you can start to create process. And this is where I think is great for Virgo, is that, you can create a sort of a system for yourself to facilitate manifesting. So at one point, what I did was, as an exercise, I wrote what I wanted to manifest on a colored piece of paper. And I wrote it 3 times because for me, 3 is a very powerful number. It's the number of the master teacher. At the time, I was using a green color. I think I wanted to manifest more abundance and money. And then after I'd written the affirmation, I am a harmoniously wealthy, financially free, spiritual healer and teacher. All of my needs are met and provided for at every moment. Money comes to me easily and often. That's kind of how I was rolling. Again, the I am, set in the present and set in the experience you want to have, not stretching for the experience you want to have. I wrote that on the green paper. Then I took blank pieces of the green paper and I cut out circles and hearts. I didn't want to cut out squares because I felt like I didn't want to get into the box. And I liked the idea of feng shui uses the round corners to keep a flow of energy. And I put these little shapes, these circles and these hearts in various places in my environment, in my car, in the console, in a drawer, if I would open it regularly, everywhere. So every time I saw the color, it would trigger the affirmation, and then the affirmation would trigger my rocket of desire out into the universe, which would then give the universe more ammunition to allow me to experience receiving that manifestation. So I want to offer those that roll with this high mercurial energy and this enjoyment of process and organization. You may like this exercise to help focus your mind, maybe identify a little bit of certain thoughts you may have actually evolved past, but inadvertently have been carrying them with you because they just become habitual. So I think this would be a great way to go. All right, that's it for natal Mercury in Virgo and the law of attraction.